Good morning, everybody. It's Friday, the 9th of August, 2024. I'm Charlie Lambden. You're watching Moving Home with Charlie, and this is 5 Fact Friday. 5 Fact Friday is when I report the 5 most significant events or pieces of data or things that have happened in the housing industry in the last 7 days. This week, there are no biggies. It's a mixed bag. And possibly, for me anyway, one of the most exciting things that happened this week is that I got to sit down with Richard Donnell, this guy here, who is a research director at Zoopla and a director of Houseful, Zoopla's parent company, and to have a really, really interesting and exciting conversation about the fact, because he and I share a view of increasing, he and I share a desire to increase transactions, to increase house moves, make it easier for people to move house, easier for people to sell a home, easier for people to buy homes, and easier for agents to get deals done, because all of those things are proving very difficult at the moment. And what was interesting about the conversation is I was trying to persuade Richard that talking about house prices doesn't solve anything or help anyone. It's actually a distraction from what people really need to know about, which is talking about the process of moving house, because how many people are completely underinformed and how hard it is to find out what's really happening. And we had a really healthy discussion, and we're going to be talking more about it, because Richard is going to be a speaker at BestAgent Day, which is an agent-only event on the 4th of September, one of an amazing bunch of speakers coming on that day. So this is agents only. If you're an agent watching this and you haven't registered, there's a link below to register. It's free to attend for BestAgent Day, where we're going to be discussing how to end overvaluing. But I just wanted to come back to this point, because it's really important that people understand that. So Richard does data on behalf of Zoopla. He's got a big team. It's fascinating, the stuff they've got. He revealed all kinds of really interesting behind the scenes data to me that's just not for public use, but interesting at an industry level. But read what he says here. This is he's posting an article that he contributed to in the Telegraph. But why Britain's historic house price booms are over. Low nominal growth the norm, and below incomes for a while yet, in my view, with a big variation across the UK. I'm 100% in agreement with that. He's saying that nominal house price growth, in other words, the sticker price, is going to be low, and actually real are going to be negative for some time. But that's not one of the facts. That's just a by the by. Oh, I haven't actually clicked. Oh, I didn't click go live on Instagram. I started talking too much. Oh, I wish I could do that beforehand. Anyway, quick slurp of my hotel coffee. Unsatisfying. And we'll get into 5 facts. This is going to be a very, very quick one, because I'm against the clock today. Got to get out. I'm just doing this now, because otherwise I wasn't going to have time to do it later today. So forgive me for how quick and dirty this is going to be. It's not going to be dirty. It's going to be quick. So John Steck at Bloomberg, an article last week saying there are tentative signs of house price recovery. And this is as optimistic as people can get when the housing market is in the doldrums, as it is a little bit at the moment. But that's not surprising. We've had an election, we've had the Euro for football, we've had some holiday, all of these things. But there are there's nobody who doesn't want housing transactions to improve. So we're all hoping for that. And I just want to really make sure that everyone understands the important difference between increasing sales activity and increasing house prices, because they can't do that, right? And in his article, he says, as always, what happens next will depend on the cost of mortgages. Yes, relative to wages, but yes. The UK housing market appears to be stabilizing, and of course it's very difficult to know if it is or not, because there's no really concrete data. All we can do is look at the whole spectrum of information that's on offer and have a look at it. And I'm going to try and persuade John to change his mind that he's got his tongue in cheek in here, but he says, time to return to the topic, most important finance topic in the world. What's going on with UK house prices? It doesn't matter what's going on with house prices. It matters what's going on with transactions. He talks about the Halifax. They've put their Halifax house price index out this week, which is not one of the 5 facts. But I love the fact he says the lender reckons that house prices are up 2%. It's worth remembering that only a couple of weeks ago, Zoopla put out their house price index saying the prices are only up 0.1% over the first. There you are. Property prices are now 0.1% inflation compared to a year ago. So within 2 weeks, you've got two respected. I mean, Zoopla's data set is much, much bigger than the Halifax's. So immediately what we can see is no one really knows. There's no hard and fast evidence. There's just quite big. I mean, a 2% difference is quite big, right? So that's why there's no point talking about it too much, because no one really knows. And actually, what difference does it make if you're moving house? What national averages are doing? Zero. Zero, zero, zero. You need to get out and move. So what is actually happening if you want to move? I think one of the most important things to look at here, if you want to buy a house, one of the things that matters is how many homes are for sale. And the supply of homes, this is an old fact, continues to grow 16% higher than a year ago. And this is interesting. Super says the average has 33 homes for sale. Rightmove, in its most recent article, said that the average stock per agent, including under offer sold, was 61 homes for sale, so almost double. What you might infer from that is, okay, Zoopla's figure is only the sales stuff and excludes the under offer and sold stuff. Okay, that would be a reasonable thing to make. Richard doesn't actually clarify that here. And so let's have a look at BestAgent housing index, and this is only a couple of days ago, right? A snapshot of everything that we can. This is England only, right? But percentage-wise, you've got 360,000 homes showing for sale in England, and only 87 or 88,000 showing a sale agreed. So there's definitely a big discrepancy somewhere, and it's not obvious where that might be. But that ratio there for sale to sold is 4 to 1 roughly, okay? And the median prices are just at the moment kind of not changing. They just haven't changed at all. There have been small changes in the overall average prices for sale and for under offer stuff. The median prices have not changed for some months now. They're absolutely stuck where they are, which I think is pretty reflective of the housing market as a whole. It's just kind of stuck in a rut at the moment. Now, a little anecdote before we go on to the next fact of the week is that I've been in a whole raft of meetings in the last 2 days in London with mortgage brokers, mortgage lenders, estate agents, Richard at Zoopla, and others, and some individual agents. And one agent I spoke to, who's on the South Coast, said they are busy, 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 busy. Now, they're not at the mainstream end of the market. They're slightly higher up, sort of above 500,000 to 1.5 million, but they're really, really busy. Now, I think that's because they happen to be a particularly good estate agent, and in a difficult market where things aren't selling as quickly and there's more competition to sell, you do tend to find, especially owners of more expensive homes who think about this a bit more, perhaps a bit more analytical about it, they do tend to look for quality in an agent. And that particular agent is a very high quality agent. She's a speaker at the BestAgent event. And I think she's experiencing a real increase in activity in her business because she is a quality agent that gets results, transparent, doesn't have a value. She was a guest on this channel a couple of years ago, Katie Fox. But at the same time, I had a meeting with an agent in London who is one of the best agents I've ever worked with. I've known him for a very long time. And he said to me quietly yesterday over lunch, he said, Charlie, it's kind of as you said it was going to be. It's got quieter and quieter. And he said, I was in his office with them, and the phone normally rings a lot there. And he said, "Look, the phone's not ringing." And I said, "Well, it is summer holiday, isn't it?" He said, "Look, how long can you keep on going making excuses? Yes, we had the election. Yes, we had the football. Now it's summer holidays." He said, "But it just doesn't feel right." So it's a mixed bag, and overall the volumes are kind of okay. And according to 20EA and Christopher Watkins' prop stats show there's still transactions happening. But most people I'm talking to are saying, anecdotally, transactions are taking a very long time. There's more and more coming onto the market. It's not selling. The standoff between buyers and sellers remains. So I hope that that's a slight reduction in interest rates the Bank of England did last week will lead to an uptick in housing transactions. Let's go on to the next fact. Where did we get to? This is an article that came out on the BBC yesterday. House hunting picks up as some offer after 20 minutes. That's a great clickbait headline if ever there was. So this is reporting from the RICS report, which we're going to look at in just a second, and also Zupa's survey. The survey by property portal Zupa suggests that sellers buy make an offer after short viewings. I mean, this isn't really news, is it? It's interesting. Any of us who've bought or sold property before know that sometimes you walk into a place and you're like, yeah, I want to live here. I want to live. I want to buy. I've got the money as my offer. It's, that's always happened. But I think it's trying to be used to sort of suggest, oh, there's an uptick in the market. Well, the market's been so quiet now for a couple of months because of the summer and the election and everything else that there's no surprise that there's going to be an uptick in activity, and that's welcome, massively, massively welcome. A fifth of buyers questioned said they had looked around for less than 20 minutes before putting in their bid. If you're a first-time buyer, the kind of places you're looking at, you don't need more than 10 minutes to look around. Not very big, a lot of them. More like 2 minutes and you've seen it. So, yeah, it's not a big surprise there. So the UK's biggest mortgage lender, Halifax, says house prices are likely to rise for the rest of the year. Remember, Halifax has a slight leaning to the north of England in its sample size data, in its data sample, and also it is mortgage only and it excludes cash transactions. The RICS, I'm about to come on to their survey, are saying expectations of a rise in sales, not prices, a rise in sales, have reached their highest level since the start of 2020. Now, the expectations of a rise in activity, which have been low for quite a long time. I mean, this is not headline news, and we'll come on to exactly what they said in a minute, but I agree. I'm expecting activity to pick up over the next 3 months because it's been on the floor for the last 3 months. So an uptick in activity is not a surprise and it is very welcome. Let's look at the RICS on to the next fact. So this is the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors doing their monthly survey of their 200 or so survey respondents around the country. And this is effectively estate agents who have got the RICS qualification giving their anecdotal response to the market. So they don't report prices, right? There are no numbers here. It's just positive or negative, going up, going down, more or less. It's just that, and then they weigh up the balance. So buyer demand steady over the month, which means unchanged. The near-term outlook appears to be brightening. Well, okay, they're saying the crystal ball is looking a bit brighter. And what they're doing is they're looking at our buyer levels increasing. They don't really substantiate at this point. The outlook appears to be brightening, other than agents are hoping it will, along with me. So the number of buyer inquiries and sales agreed both hold steady in July. Okay, well, that doesn't tell us anything. Respondents, that means the agents answering the survey, increasingly anticipate market activity will gain momentum in the months ahead. That's called hope, and I share that hope. The National House Price Indicator remains negative. Who cares? It doesn't matter. We only care about transactions and people being able to move on with the next stage of their life, because a house is a home, not a investment vehicle. Remember that. Actually, that reminds me, I've got to put this up here. I did I put a post on X, which kind of kicked a hornet's nest a bit. Hang on a second. And it says, if your house price hasn't risen at least 37% since 2020, then your house value has contracted. It's worth less now than it was then. I'm trying to show that homes are no longer the sound financial investments they have been for the last 40 years. But a home is priceless. So some people see that as me saying, don't buy a home. I'm not saying that at all. Buy a home because you need a home, but don't buy a home because you think it's going to make you money. Perhaps it will, but that's not a reason to buy. And the chances of it making, and like Richard Donald from Zoopla says, nominal house price growth is going to be negligible or flat for the foreseeable few years overall. Now, what do I mean by 37%? Well, UK compounded inflation rate since January 2020 is more than 37%. Okay, so that means house prices have fallen way behind inflation, and therefore values, because house values are measured in price, they're measured in currency, they're not measured in gold, they're not measured in Bitcoin, they're measured in price. And the value of pounds has come down because of inflation. Now, it's quite right to say, so has the value of your debt, so has the value of your mortgage come down alongside inflation. These are all true facts. But what I'm trying to say is, it's a home. It's not a stock market share that you can punt about. It's not any longer going to be any good as a pension, I don't think. So why am I saying that? Because when you're buying a home, the most important thing is that you don't overpay. You don't overpay. You don't overpay. A quick look at the RICS graphs. And again, this is just a pretty unscientific thing, although it tends to be one of the more accurate predictors of what's happening. And this is the graph on the left here is national prices for the last 3 months. Can you see that properly? Yes. And this, when this line is above, when the zigzaggy purple line is above that horizontal zero, it means more surveyors saw prices going up in the last 3 months than they did going down. And when it's below, it means more surveyors saw prices going down than they did going up. That doesn't mean all prices are going down. It means that there are just more going down than there are going up. It's a seesaw, okay? And then they look at their inquiry levels that have remained pretty flat. Have a look at the regional breakdown. This is a really good one. So the past 2 months prices, Northern Ireland is got the strongest house price growth, followed by Scotland. Everywhere else in England is negative in that survey result. New buyer inquiries all over the place regionally, massive regional variations, as Richard Donald said at Zoopla, massive regional variations. New vendor instructions in the past month. Okay, well, that's positive. That's more stuff coming to the market in most areas. Not so much in London, the Southeast, or the Midlands, but Wales, Northwest, Yorkshire and Humber, all seeing new vendor instructions more positive. Okay, this graph isn't changing very much there. Anyway, that's that one. The last fact of the week is that Persimmon, the UK's biggest house builder, hints at brighter times for UK house building. So they're reporting new home completions in the first half of 2024 are up 5%, including a 14% increase in private completions. So that's individual retail sales of homes as opposed to selling to institutions. I think, okay, that's good. I mean, again, it's got very, very low, so increases is not a surprise, and it's welcome. Yeah, as long as they're being built where they're needed, and as long as they are affordable. It's no point in building houses people can't afford. Right, quick look in the comments. Oh, guys, sorry, is my connection breaking up? Ugh. Sin says, morning, Charlie. I want to offer 600,000 on a house that's been up for over a year at 750,000. Always make your offer. Always make your offer. Always make your offer. Never don't offer, right? Because Sin goes on to say, they've had an offer, shall I go for it? What have you got to lose? Make your offer. Just use my offer template. Don't just say, hi, I want to offer this much money, because it doesn't look credible. Use the offer template. It's my first time buyers email offer template on my website. Link is, you'll find the link below. If you just Google MHWC offer email template, you'll also find it. And there's one for cash buyers too. So how quickly did my connection improve? 19. Okay, good. I'm just checking for. Yeah. Okay, guys. Listen, I've got to go. There aren't many questions there. Good morning, Teddy. Nice to see you. It was great. Teddy and I met the other day for the first time. It was cool. Teddy's an agent in Worcester Park. But I'm going to wrap it up now. If you are a seller, the three things you need to know when you're choosing your agent are, and this is the questions you should ask them, right? How will you make sure you get competing buyers on my home? That's the first question to ask. What do you do? What is your process for getting competing buyers on my home? Don't ask them what they think your house is worth. It doesn't matter. As an agent said to me yesterday, there are three prices: what you want, what I think, and what someone's going to pay. And they're all different. That was a very experienced agent saying that, right? If you're a seller, the market will tell you and decide what your house is worth, provided your agent brings your property to the market well. You only get one chance to do that first time. If you have to reduce your price, your chances of selling drop completely. Your chances of a fall through go up, and it's going to take over 100 days, right? On average. These are the average figures. So just don't make the silly mistake of overpricing and just going, hopefully we'll just find that one buyer that's too stupid not to overpay. I want sellers to get the best price they can for their house. The way to do that is to bring it to the market so you get competing buyers coming at the same time. There's no good getting 6 buyers if they're 6 buyers, one every 6 weeks. You're not going to have a competition. It's not sitting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. You need to launch the property correctly, an in-depth process. Get the first couple of weeks, interest in the viewings, the competing bids, then you know what the house is worth. Then ask them what it's worth. It doesn't matter what they think, and they're not going to tell you the truth anyway because they're worried about disappointing you. Ask them, what is your process for making sure we get competing buyers? Without competing buyers, you will not get the best price for your home. That's question number one. Question number two, ask them. We'll rarely give you a truthful answer, but it's a really important question to ask to see their answer, because a really good agent will answer this. What is your success ratio? What is your number of homes listed to number of homes sold? Always ask that. If you ask Foxtons and Dexters that in London, they will squirm because their numbers are very, very low. The particular branch you're talking to might be good. And if you get a good branch manager whose numbers are an outlier because they're really good, then absolutely you should consider going with it. But overall, their numbers are low. So that's the second question. What's your success ratio? That's the only metric that matters when you're measuring estate agency comparison. What is your long-term listed to sold ratio? And number three, just as important, what is your sales progression process? And I want the details. I want to know the details, because good agents get those deals once you've got the buyer, got the deal agreed. What you don't want is to fall through. And that's where the really hard work starts. There's skill at the beginning, skill in bringing your house to the market well, and there's hard work at the end. Why is it hard work? Because at the beginning, you're not relying on anyone else to do the job properly. They will get the photographs done really well, get the floor plan done, write the description properly, walk out with you the best price, launch it out. That's a skill, right? And they don't rely on the people too much. At the other end of the deal, the sales progression, they're relying on your conveyancer, the buyer's conveyancer, the lender, the valuation, all these other people they can't control. That's where their experience and really hard work comes in. So, question one, how do you get competing buyers? What's your process for getting competing buyers? Question number two, what's your success ratio? Question number three, what's your sales progression process? And really listen to the answer. Make notes on the answer. And what those questions will do is that they will flush out pretenders. They start and go, let me show you about this really, really cool piece of tech that we use tomorrow. Let me show you this data. No. Answer the fucking question. Answer the fucking question. How do you get competing buyers? No. Don't tell me you put it on Rightmove and the 30 million people a day looking at it. That's what everyone does. What's the process? Because that doesn't work, because look at all the unsold homes on Rightmove, right? What is the process that you do that gets competing buyers? Because most homes don't get competing buyers. And buyers. Okay, here's a question from a buyer. Sathya SP says, "Hi Charlie, I offered on a house for £230,000, which is listed for more than 6 months. Reduced a couple of times down to 255 from initial of 275. How can I make this happen?" Sathya, did you make honestly, this is the answer to your question. The way to improve the chance of a seller deciding to accept your offer when your offer is lower than they want to accept is by showing them that it is a concrete, proceedable, prepared offer and you can move very fast. That's the only way to make it happen. Okay. If you're the only offer there and they haven't got any other offers, make your offer look really good by making sure you got proof of deposit funds, make sure you got your mortgage in principle, make sure you got your conveyancer lined up and conveyancer already instructed, and say that you will offer to buy your property search pack the day they accept your offer, speeding the whole process up. And if the seller is contract ready, there's no reason you can't get that deal done in under 4 weeks. All right. Oh, guys, I'm sorry about the internet here. I can't control it. I'm going to knock it on the head now. Have a great weekend. See you soon.